Thank you for joining me. My name is Ellen, and I am a sensuality consultant, owner of Your Pleasure Incorporated, and author of a best-selling book called Making Love. This week is the next chapter in my ebook, Becoming the Greatest Physical Lover. This information is for anyone who wants to understand the details of what it takes to grow as a sexual lover. And tonight, I want to talk about when things aren't going perfectly. So, there's a couple of things to remember. No one is born a lover. No one comes out of their mother's womb knowing how to sexually satisfy anyone. So, just like any art, there are ingredients, there are levels, there are techniques, there are understandings, lessons that need to take place so that you can grow as a lover. The best way for that to happen is to remember that communication is key. No two people are the same, and no two people enjoy the exact same thing. So, if you apply yourself and have an open communication with the object of your desire, then your relationship will grow and blossom. If you feel like it's a one size fits all, I've always done this, so I'm always going to do this, then you might be surprised how your partner is not responding in a way that is favorable. So remember, there's all kinds of things to learn, and communication is absolute key. One of the things that separates us from all other species is the fact that we have a creative imagination. And creative imagination should most definitely be part of your sexual life. If you're doing the same thing all the time, it gets boring. And it's very, very hard to get excited over boring activities. So it's really important that, especially if you have a partner for a long, long time, to understand that if you want to keep it fun and playful, you've got to add creative imagination. And it doesn't have to be anything as extreme as hanging from a chandelier or, getting dressed up in pony suits. But it's a good idea to incorporate something sensual, something beautiful, whether it's a massage, a dance, some kind of sensual seduction that only you would know about your partner, and you find that out through communication. I cannot emphasize how important it is that you cannot know another unless you're willing to talk to them and unless you're willing to hear what they're saying. Because sometimes you might talk to someone and just so busy waiting for them to acknowledge what a great lover you are that you're not hearing anything that they're saying. And then when that sentence doesn't come through, you get a little bit upset. So if this or any part of your journey is not going well, and you've included the fact that you want to try different techniques and you're willing to experiment with them, that you have open communication, and that you are using your imagination and creativity, then it's important to acknowledge your feelings and talk them out. If you don't talk them out, then you're stuck, and you don't want to be stuck. You are taught how to be a lover by every single partner you have. And if you happen to be with someone who is being honest with you, you're going to learn a lot. And if you're with someone who is so worried about hurting your feelings that they can't tell you the truth, then you're not going to grow at all. And that relationship is going to come to an end. One way or the other, it's going to come to an end. So it's a really good idea to learn from your partner what it is that they like. Now, we are sensual beings. And what does that mean? We have 5 senses: smell, touch, taste, sound, and hearing. And if you are listening to the cues, if you are feeling the touch beyond what you want it to be, but what it really is saying, because touch in itself is a language all its own. If you are looking at the expressions on your partner's face, all of these things are telltale signs. But the whole focus of this conversation is if you sense that there's something wrong. So you could be using those 5 outward senses, but sometimes really what it is your intuition, your inner knowing that knows that something is wrong. Again, how do you fix this? You fix this with a good communication and a heart-to-heart talk. Humans can provide all kinds of cues. Don't romanticize the situation. Try to see it clearly and without prejudice against the facts. And there are lots of different things that can possibly go wrong. And one of them, actually 50% of the men in this country have a problem with premature ejaculation. If that's your problem, then you have to fix it. And if you don't want to fix it, then you cannot be surprised when your lover says, I've had enough. So there are certain problems that can absolutely be fixed, and that's one of them. I talk about that on one of my shows. But another one is the sense of smell. Like pheromones are very, very powerful in how they attract us to each other. And women are very, very sensitive to men's pheromones if she's not on a birth control pill. Birth control sort of nullifies her ability to tell whether the pheromones are good, solid pheromones for her, or if they're a little off. But that's besides the point. So if you are smelling a person and this is very subconscious, but if you do not like the way your partner smells, even if they're clean, even if they're scrubbed, that is going to be a bone of contention, and they're going to find some kind of way to criticize you. They might not come out and say, I just don't like the way you smell, or I just don't like the way you taste, but they might. And don't be surprised if that happens. There's one little thing that I recommend. It's just a quick fix, and I have some right here. Kama Sutra makes a cleansing gel made out of clove, and this stuff actually nullifies any kind of extra scent. So if you've handled something stinky, or if you've put on a cologne that's overbearing, or if you've been standing in smoke and you just smell overbearing, to take a shower in this is phenomenal and will really nullify any negative scents on your body. Will it change your chemistry? It will not. Okay. You can change your chemistry a little bit by the kinds of foods that you eat, alcohols that you drink, and you can make yourself taste sweeter, but you really cannot change your pheromone scent very much at all. So if your pheromones and her pheromones, or your partner's pheromones with you, are not jiving, you might want to look at that as a reason not to be together. I know it sounds very glib, but no one wants to have sex with a person that they don't like the way they smell and taste. You know, it doesn't matter how much money that person makes. If you're going to be a perfect match for somebody, but if you're not a perfect match with your partner, then that's a conversation that needs to happen. Okay. So now, if you do come into a situation where you're not really sure what's going on, things that hit a snag here, you need to ask some questions. The first one is, can this situation be fixed? Some things can be changed, and others can only be altered or enhanced a bit. There are lots of products on the market that will make you bigger, your genitals bigger. They'll make your vagina tighter. They'll make your scent a little bit more enhanced. They'll give you a little extra libido. So these are the enhancements, but you really cannot change the way a person smells so much. So they could be super clean, but if you don't like their pheromones, that's not going to work. The second question is, are you both willing to do whatever it takes to evolve past this point? Because you know, how much effort is this going to take? It might take a lot of effort, and it might take 6 weeks. Are you willing to put in 6 weeks to change a situation in your romantic sexual relationship that is kind of annoying you, turning you off, or causing you dissatisfaction? Both of you have to be on the same page. And sometimes the answer to that question is no, I'm not willing to do that. People like their habits. That's who, and they live their life. Many people live their life on automatic pilot. They don't make their decisions based on wanting to grow, but instead they allow past habits to steer the course of their actions. If you're with a person like this, you also have a choice. It may not be your first choice, but it is definitely a choice. The third and last point of this talk is resetting the relationship. You want to be honest with one another. You don't want to be mean. You don't want to be unkind. You don't want to put any kind of blame on anybody, but you want to know if you're suited for each other. And that happens by understanding and being honest about what it is you are, what it is you need. If the other person can provide that, phenomenal. If they want to provide that, phenomenal. Because the best lovers are the ones that come together to give to one another, to give the best of what they've got to one another. If you're not willing to give, if you're not there to give, to help your partner achieve sexual satisfaction, pleasure beyond measure, then you're never going to be the world's greatest lover, because that is the focus of every great lover, to please their partner. And then just by pleasing their partner, they are pleased also. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this. If there are any questions, please ask. But if you don't have any questions now, send me an email, ypi69@hotmail.com. If you found this conversation pleasant, please share and like. Every week I get together with you guys and I talk about something different. Next week, to continue the book, and I'm almost done with this book, Contraceptives and the Effects on Sexual Response. Because believe me, there are lots of effects on sexual response, whether it's an IUD, a condom, whatever it is, they're going to affect your sex life. So that's going to be next week's topic. I hope you enjoyed today. Thank you so much for joining me. This is your host, Ellen Nicholas, sensuality consultant at Your Pleasure Incorporated. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste all. Bye for now.